Okay, YouTube, today we're going to review Don Pedro coffee. This is the cheapest coffee on the shelf at the local supermarket. I've heard different reviews about this, but our goal here is to see how good or bad can the cheapest possible coffee on the shelf actually taste. So we're going to brew up a batch of this Don Pedro coffee. And I've already popped it open because I wanted to see how it smelled, and I'll tell you real quick actually. It has a, I don't know how to describe it. It's like rubber tires maybe, mixed with a little bit of cigarette. Kind of smells like tobacco. It doesn't smell as bad as some of them. I've had some coffees cheap that they were so tobacco-y that it smelled like somebody had just taken a pipe and went on the thing. This is kind of middle of the road. It's alright. So we're going to brew this up, and this will only take a second. I've already primed the machine with water. So we're going to do this. We've got, this is about 1.5 cups, so we're going to do 1.5 scoops. It's usually 1 tablespoon per cup if you go by the information on this thing. They say you should brew more, but this is pretty much how anybody that gets this is going to do it, you know, right off the shelf. So that's how we're going to see how it tastes. So we'll just throw a little in there. And if y'all remember my last review I did on this machine, this is a good machine for taste testing this stuff, I found. It brews a halfway decent cup of coffee when you have good coffee. It's just with these mesh filters, you always got to shake that, make sure that's level, because your coffee's going to expand as the water goes through it. We're done with that. Alright. So, and like I said, I already put the water in, so all we got to do is close her up and get her started. And if you want to pause that, we'll... My cameraman has just mentioned something that I had forgotten to mention in that. This coffee that's brewing, it was only $2.40 something a can. Uber cheap coffee. And since I'm on the subject of it now, we're actually still brewing this. It's got a little ways left to go. The fragrance changes when it brews. It's a little stout. It doesn't have like a ton, but it's definitely a wake-up blend is what it smells kind of like. It's different. It reminds me more of gas station type coffee, the way the smell is, or maybe the coffee I used to drink with my grandfather out on the oil rigs. But we're going to give it a shot. The people say it's not so bitter, and it actually is a pretty good brew. It looks like we got maybe about a minute or so left on the brew, and we'll pull it out. So anyway, getting back to things. Alright, the brew is complete. It's been about 5 to 6 minutes. And the first thing we notice, you probably can't see it on the camera, but it's a pretty stout brew. It's pretty dark. I wish I had more light to show, but this is all we get right now. So let's pop a lid on this, and we're going to give it a taste. We'll see. Judging by the smell, I don't hold much hope for this coffee. So let's give it a shot. Oh, that's different. There is no bitterness in it, but it has it's very carbony, if that makes any sense. It kind of smells like cigarettes. That's not a good sign. It doesn't taste bad though. It doesn't smell like cigarettes, like fresh tobacco cigarettes. It smells like carbon, like ash. And there's almost no flavor to it. I mean, other than the carbon of the roast. Okay, here's my thoughts on this. This coffee, if you don't like coffee, if you don't like the bitter taste, if bitter taste is not your thing, or if you don't like any bitterness, this coffee is pretty good. If you like a coffee taste, you may be a little disappointed. It's very flat. It's very flat. Probably the most neutral coffee I've ever drank next to Pampa, which I'll have to do a review later on Pampa as well. But yeah, you can taste the roast, but you don't taste a whole lot of the coffee. It's like drinking carbon water. Though I could see this working as a substitute coffee if you run out of your regular blend. Keeping a little bit of this in the freezer might be a good thing until you can get your hands on whatever it is you prefer to drink. But if you like a coffee that doesn't go "Gah!" in the back of your mouth, and you want to drink it, I guess this is pretty good. I mean, it's not a bad coffee. You know, I didn't like spit it out. I didn't make a bad face. It's just it's very shallow. It's not a deep flavor. Yeah, I'm guessing that's what they think an American roast should be. I could drink it. I probably will, since I have it. But yeah, Don Pedro. It's not anything. I'm not writing home about it, but I could drink it, and I will. I'm going to complete this can. I will complete this can because it was worth the $2.47 that was paid for it. Would it be worth $3.47? No. Would it be worth $1.47? Yeah, most definitely. So it's priced right. It's not the uber best coffee I've ever drank, but it is. If you don't like the gagging taste that some Colombian blends give you, this is a very, very mild coffee. And that's about it to this. It's coffee. That's all I'll say. And I guess that pretty much sums that up, so I will post this on YouTube. And I would like to thank my cameraman for helping me there. My friend Styx is down, and he agreed to film this so that I could actually get on camera while I was actually doing a review. And so that's it from us to y'all. Y'all have a good one, YouTube, and y'all have a good one. Try some Don Pedro. You may like it. I'm not crazy about it, but I can drink it. You may like it. It all depends on your taste. Okay, I needed to add this to the end of this. This review is far from over. I still have some in this cup. One of the things I've started to notice as time goes on with this coffee and as it matures in the cup is that there is a flavor coming out of this coffee now. It's not getting bitter, but it's starting to get the nutty taste or the beany taste that coffee should have. So a bit of advice on this coffee is brew it as hot as your machine can brew it and let it sit. You don't want to go over, I think it's 208. You don't want to scorch it, but let it sit a bit before you drink it. It seems that the flavor starts to come out of this coffee as it sits. It's almost like a wine, the way it seems to the way it seems to mature in the cup or develop in the cup. It's getting a bit more robust as it sits. And I just read on the thing, and I didn't realize, but I had read it before. It said low acid coffee. So what I think this carbon taste is whatever process they use to remove the acid. I bet they run it through like some kind of a filtering process or something before it's put in the can. I have no idea. Don't quote me on it. Don't get me lying, but that could be part of the acid removal process for this coffee. But yeah, the flavor is starting to develop quite nicely on this, and it's not an unlikable blend. I still think I'll continue drinking my Black Silk, or I'll continue drinking the Aldi coffee as it stands right now until I use up the Aldi coffee. But this is a good standby. You know, there are some caveats. Like I said, it's not the strongest coffee you'll ever drink. Not the most intensely flavorful coffee, but I had said with the Aldi review that was a good first-time coffee, and yeah, if you have a taste for robust things, I guess it is. It's not a disappointing brew. This is not a disappointing brew in that if you don't like bitter at all in anything, This is pretty good. This is a little less bitter than the Aldi coffee. You know, it extracts well. It's just the flavor, for my taste, is not super well developed, but it does develop more as it sits. For whatever reason, it's getting better as it sits in the cup. And as it cools, it's not developing that acidic nastiness that some coffees get. Like, I don't know, some Folgers and other ones, you know. Did I get you? I didn't mean to. But yeah. So yeah, good cheap coffee. We'll continue. I'll finish this brew, and I guess I should do a synopsis at the end of this, or an overview. So we'll get back with you. I'm going to keep drinking it. We'll see what happens. It's not actually that bad. I'm surprised for what was paid. Okay, well, this is the last part, the synopsis. I have to speak a little quietly because I waited till later to film this. My overall opinion of that coffee is that it's a pretty good coffee. It's not the worst I've ever had, but hey, it's like what I said, for $2.47 some odd cents, it's a pretty good cup of coffee, pretty good can of coffee. You owe it to yourself to give it a try. Keep it in your fridge as a backup. The taste is not spectacular, but it's not horrible either. Probably a good first coffee. I don't know. It depends on what you have a taste for. But anyway, that's the whole review, and I'm going to upload this in moments. So all of you have a good evening, and thanks for watching, YouTube.